This session we are looking at developing the habit of being a witness for Jesus. If you've been in church for a while, witnessing probably conjures up a variety of images in your mind that may or may not excite you or send tremors down your spine. Anything from preaching on the street to handing out tracts to talking to an elderly relative about Jesus. Personally, I've had my fair share of street evangelism. In my teenage years, a friend and I used to call out to everyone we passed when walking home from school, "Jesus loves you." I think a few cyclists nearly met an untimely end due to the shock of hearing a teenager shout that at them from the pavement. Looking back, it was probably a tad crazy, but the buzz of telling strangers every day about Jesus was incredible. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it now for a variety of reasons, but as a zealous young teenager, it was where I was at, and I'm sure God used it despite our unconventional, somewhat naive and wild approach. He saw our heart was in the right place. Don't worry, witnessing doesn't necessarily need to be like that. So what does Jesus say about witnessing? In John 8 verse 12, it reads, Jesus spoke to the people once more and said, "I am the light of the world. If you follow me, you won't have to walk in darkness because you will have the light that leads to life." In Matthew 5 verse 14, Jesus says to his disciples, "You are the light of the world, like a city on a hilltop that cannot be hidden." Was Jesus confused? What did he mean by saying he is the light of the world and also saying we are the light of the world? He wasn't confused at all. Jesus was saying that as we carry him around, he will be the light in us, shining out to the whole world. In the 16th chapter of Mark, Jesus says, "Go into all the world and preach the good news to everyone." And again in John 15 verse 27, Jesus says to his disciples, "You must also testify about me because you have been with me from the beginning of my ministry." So witnessing is God's idea and he needs us to do it. So what does it mean to be a witness? The dictionary definition of the term reads, "A person who sees an event, typically a crime or accident, take place." What does it mean to be a witness for us then? It means to tell of your experience of Jesus, of the way he has impacted your life. So what's your story? It might be of your salvation, but it also might be of his working in your life. Behind the eyes of every one of us is an incredible story of Jesus' work in first saving us, but also walking with us and helping us through life. In Revelation 12 verse 11, it reads, "And they defeated him, the devil, by the blood of the Lamb and by their testimony." Have you ever noticed that when a friend, perhaps in your Connect group, shares of something God has done for them, your faith is suddenly boosted and your perspective of once a challenging situation shifts? What stories are locked up inside of you that could be the key to someone else's victory or salvation? Witnessing isn't about shouting and screaming or being odd. It's about being you and sharing an incredible story, the story of Jesus and you. Whether you feel called to preach on the street or have the occasional chat with your neighbour, may we all chip away at spreading the light that's within us. Let's let that light out to those in spiritual darkness, but also to our brothers and sisters who may be in the dark about how to walk through a challenge. May we all simply share our story. Selah.